My neighbour, Matt Burgess, couldn't sleep.
My night, Jarrod Walsh, lovely bloke. He's been around for ages.
He's
Oh,
lovely.
mate, Jarrod, I love him. He's a great guy.
And world tennis number 3, Andy Martins, had to, Andy Murray even.
Welcome to Best Team Men, a brand new intro. Jarrod, welcome to you.
Thank you. It's great to be here. This is the time that I most look forward to every week, to spend almost an hour with you two boys and come and just have some fun. So, Andy, how are you going?
I'm very well. And when you said that last night on the old textie, I was like, that's the most excited I've ever heard Jarrod on text.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Have you done the thing with the iPhone yet if you write pew pew with an exclamation mark?
No.
All right, check this out. So I'll just send it to you.
This is completely out of nowhere.
No, this is awesome.
All
So
right.
I'm going to send just to Andy, right?
Yeah.
PEW
Yeah.
space PEW.
Sure.
And I don't think I even need to do an exclamation mark. Send. No, I need to do an exclamation mark. Hold on. Pew pew with an exclamation mark. What?
Oh,
you
it
did
worked.
it. How
It
good's
worked.
that?
Oh, yeah, the lasers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
that's
just like being at bloody Enchanted Forest about 20 Back years in the ago. day? Yeah, when I was 17.
Well,
Anyway.
it's good to be here, boys. It's been a very a strange day because we're not a sports podcast. We're working out what sort of podcast we are still, but I'm a bit in shock that what's going on in the NBA. The playoffs are pretty much in shutdown mode at the moment. Two of the teams that are left in the playoffs have said we don't want to play anymore in the reaction to a shooting that happened in Wisconsin. So it's a bit strange. Like, I'm NBA obsessed and I love that finally something is happening.
Was the NBA affected heavily due to coronavirus like the AFL?
Massively, mate. They're in Florida at Disney World playing in a bubble. So all of the teams moved to Florida.
Yeah.
And they sorry, I should start by saying NBA is basketball.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about women's hockey.
Yeah, no, it's massively
Wayne Gretzky's the best player.
There's no crowds or anything,
Wow.
mate. It's pretty full on.
Do they fill the crowd seating with like Mickey Mouses and stuff?
Oh, that's a good idea,
They did really well because behind the basket they have all of these screens where fans can watch it from home and they show the fans' reactions behind it as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
They've done really well. For like tech nerds like us, it actually looks pretty good. We've got a big round coming up, Maddie, and we've got some
Massive.
great sponsors.
We do have some great sponsors, obviously starting at the top with Connellina.
Connellina.
We've given him a couple's name.
I'm going to make him a T-shirt that we can sell on our shop to make money off that name.
Great.
We made that name up.
Con will probably make his own, though.
He
Yes,
would,
true.
yeah. Anything that we say, Con's already done.
So, yeah, Con at the Brighton Trophy Centre.
Yep.
He's been our major sponsor now for a while. Lee at Shifty Lizard Brewing. And Jarrod, your mates at the Odd Sock Mob.
Yeah, I've got an update from that as well, because you know how I mentioned last round that we had some people approach us from the Odd Sock Mob and say, hey, we want to give away a pair of socks every couple of weeks to people who promote the podcast. So I got a message from Alex from Odd Sock Mob. He says, basically, hope you're enjoying the socks. We would absolutely love and be interested in doing a giveaway with the show. Around Father's Day, we'll be able to start giving those away. And I think it's really important that because Odd Sock Mob approached us, we need to celebrate the fact that they want to be involved with our podcast. And I
Yeah.
think it's a really good thing. We are not going to defame any potential sponsors that want to be involved in Best Team. And there's no umming or ahhing about it, guys.
No, anyone who wants to jump on, get on board.
Yeah, I think it's important that people want to promote their brand via us, and we're not going to go, no, we are too good for you. It's not like when people want to invest their brand in a media stream, it's not like you have to be exclusive there. It's basically saying, oh, excuse me, Toyota, you can only sponsor the Adelaide Crows and no one else. No, mate, if you want to spread your wings and actually be part of lots of broad listener experiences, then we love Odd Sock Mob at Odd Sock Mob on Instagram.
Absolutely. I gave them a follow. They followed me back.
Sick.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. So I'm just overwhelmed by the monologue that Jarrod just did.
Yeah.
I've come a bit fired up today.
aren't you?
Yeah, I've got a
You're
fair
warming
bit I
to
want to. And usually I talk most in this podcast. And I want to pull back a little bit. I need to say, Andy, congratulations. Is This Movie For You podcast is back as well on Ozcast Network. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
you want some
Beautiful.
movie recommendations, you can have a listen to Andy and Yaz.
So that must fit in between the Up and Go podcast and...
Yasmin put a photo of her recording the podcast while feeding your daughter.
Yeah, that was weird. Kept everyone happy, so that was good.
Okay,
What did you rate that movie out of 10?
Well,
I gave it a 10.
Speaking of podcasts, I need to talk about this very quickly, and Matt, you'll probably get angry at me. And the thing is, we don't edit on this podcast. We are all live unless there's defamatory things said. So,
Which sometimes come out. We don't mean to,
yeah.
We've done it a few times.
Yeah. But
but and then we normally get a message from Andy going, "How far back was that pub?" And we're like, "Oh, I actually can't remember." You're just gonna have to listen to it.
I actually blacked out for 50 minutes, so I have no idea what's going
because of
on.
my monologue, I was talking to Jarrod like, okay, so what is a bubble in Florida? Wait, NBA? I don't know what he's talking about. What's a Giannis Antetokounmpo? So I was talking to Maddie pre-show, Andy, about some of the podcasts that I enjoy listening to and some of the podcasts that I'm off at the moment because I've actually been pretty disappointed with some of my podcast offerings this year. I think COVID's been great for people to express creativity and some other podcasts which are attached to some of my favourite radio shows, which I can't really discuss at the moment because I want to.
You're still employed by them?
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
so give it a couple of weeks and I'll be able to talk about my favourite ones. Still going through 54,000 emails, by the way. And we were just sitting there, Maddie and I, pre-show, having a coffee at BTS.
Yeah, I don't know where this is going.
And Maddie said, guess what I'm listening to at the moment? And I thought he was going to, recommend some music because Maddie's a DJ. He works it for a label. He's got a great understanding of music and content.
Yeah.
And Maddie showed me what he was listening to.
Yeah.
And Maddie, did you want to let Andy and everybody know what you recommended me before we came in here?
I don't know if I can.
Well, just give a little bit of a brief, because you realise that whenever we talk, everything's content for the podcast.
I know. So
you forgot that for a second.
I did figure that for a second. I thought we were just talking as mates. And, so I don't, for some reason, like lately I've just been going through, so I can't even talk about it. I've been trying to go through some like health and nutrition podcasts and stuff like that. No, I have. I seriously
Just
have.
to get yourself off those donuts for breakfast.
Well,
that's right.
If you actually use the first part of that when you said just to get yourself off and stop there.
This is my sort of. Is it one of my podcasts?
Oh, so I was scrolling through the category of, health and well-being and stuff like that, and stumbled across sexy stories with Chantel Otten.
So we're at a cafe and Maddie's holding me up saying, I've been listening to this lately, mate.
Oh my God.
Why do I need to know
I've
that?
never listened to it lately. I listened to it last night for a little bit. And it was interesting because it's Dylan Alcott's missus.
Okay. But what's it about?
People write in, send in their sex stories.
That's old school.
Yeah.
That's like 90s radio.
Do you remember, what was that show?
Dr. Feelgood.
No. It was a different one. It was sex something.
On the TV? Yeah.
This
Had
is
Toddy
taking a turn.
Goldsmith as
That's
the host.
the one? Yeah, that's the one.
I mean, I don't know.
No.
So I'm expecting Maddie to recommend some music to listen to for the podcast or something. He's like, I've been listening to sex stories.
I was thinking, maybe Axel and Grosso or something like that.
Yeah.
No,
You just turned your headphones down, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
Not mine.
No,
No, you turned mine down.
Yeah, I know, because I just didn't want you to talk. It's loud.
Well, so we've got a lot coming up. Port Pirates update. The Skeff has been in touch with some actually really good news about the Port Pirates as well. He hit me up on the DMs on Instagram, so obviously he's replied to the stalking that I've given him. Andy, you got to hit us up with a pub story as well. We've got heaps of stuff to get through,
Lots.
and
Not to mention the stuff we end up going off and talking about as well.
yeah. So where should we start? Where are we actually going to
Throw
start?
it to me for a sec, because we speak about the sponsors and how good they are to us and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
And I mentioned last week that Mum was, she wanted some. I think she wanted some framing maybe done.
Great.
And she goes, "Hey, does your trophy guy do the framing?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I don't know. I think he does trophies, Mum."
Yeah, I mean, just go
the
by the
Brighton
name.
Trophy Centre.
thanks to Connolina at the Brighton Framing Centre.
You want to go buy some milk off him as well while you're there? Because that sounds pretty random. Anyway, so I was like, give him a crack. Go and say hi to Con and see what happens. So she's gone in there, organised it all, said Con could not talk any more better about us. Like you said, we're hilarious.
nice.
It's a great podcast to listen to.
Andy's got his name on the rolling scroll now as well.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he does. I drove past it this morning.
Well, full name?
Yeah, Andy Murray.
ABN as well,
Oh,
and all that sort of
Martin.
stuff. Oh, yeah. Andrew Martin is written up there.
You're on.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I got a text last night from Mum. She said that she'd collected the frame that Con had hooked up.
What was she getting framed?
I have no idea. Just a picture.
I imagine Con, if he didn't sell it, he's probably gone to Kmart for her and bought it.
Just provided the frame.
He's like, I can do anything for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a legend.
She says he did a good job, but at first he wouldn't accept payment as we were family.
Oh,
That is amazing.
unreal.
In the end, he quoted $5, which I thought wasn't enough, but he accepted. and because we're family, I said, thanks, uncle, and left.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Wait, your mum said thanks, uncle.
Yeah, which is, I don't know what she means, but she's trying to be funny. Like, she's not like
Or
a son.
she's hitting on him.
Well, he is a good-looking lad.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, right.
Those broad shoulders on the old Con.
Yeah.
I mean, the last photo we saw of Con, he had a fish trophy on his head.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. She loves a good fish.
We
Anyway.
love that. So that's great. And we should say, we don't know if there's any particular deal that we're going to work out with Con. Like, if you go to Brighton Trophy Centre and mention best team, man, do you get a discount or something like that? I mean,
or just a photo with Con.
Or a 24-pack of Fanta.
That's true. And so thank you very much to Con and Lena at Brighton Trophy Centre. We'll do your commercial at some stage during the podcast as well. We are going to get a female voice involved, whether it's Rosalie Panetta or Taylor Jones, who looks a lot like Taylor Hanson. Taylor Jones.
But a female version, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So they're from the Up and Go. And what's the other one? Like, Stop, I Haven't Finished podcast. Is that
No. Oh, my God. No, that's the porno one that Maddie listens to. No, you're talking about Rosie's something about I hate to whinge.
There you go.
Yeah, but
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, Andy, we're going to keep it on you for a second because we put out on social media over the past couple of days. If you have any questions that people want to ask the podcast, and we think we're in a position where we've got like a loyal kind of listener base which is growing.
Well, how loyal are they? We had one bloke offered up some suggestions and then said, you might be doing this already. I haven't listened for a while.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, sure that wasn't my wife. With one of her burner accounts. Jarrod, you're a shit MC. Oh, thanks. Oh, by the way, can you bring in some milk in? Your daughter's thirsty. Okay.
You get it from Con.
Yeah. So, Andy, we did, when we were pretty much starting off as best team men, nightclub stories, because that's how Matt and I got to know one another. Yeah. And we'd go, we're going to talk about some serious sporting issues, and then at halftime we'll tell a nightclub story just to break it up. And it worked for
3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, at most. But
why is that? Because you ran out of content, or
no, not really.
We just ended up stopped talking about sport, really.
Yeah, and that's what we love, is that you asked a simple question the other day of what category should we be in sport.
Yeah.
We don't really talk about sport as much as we love it, apart from you, obviously. Oh, sorry.
I love that sport. I can smell it from over here.
Sorry. But the good thing about the nightclub story is that a listener has asked, and you have heaps of them, and you did promise us one last week as well about the Goody Hotel, and this is when I told my Alicia Keys Marion Hotel bingo weekend thing. You said, I've got to tell you this story about the Goody Hotel, so tell us.
Yeah, well, so I was nightclub DJ, bloody wedding DJ, pub DJ back ages ago, right?
Mr. Versatile.
Yeah, I pretty much do anything for money. Really, I would do anything for money. I'm still very sore.
I thought sex stories with Chantel sounded familiar.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Chantel. Can you recognise that?
Oh, Shandy Martin.
That's a really good idea for a new podcast. Actually, I might just start doing that after this one.
You're welcome.
Anyway, Maddie, as you would probably know, and also you, Jarrod, we worked for a bit of an agency back in the day, doing pub gigs and stuff. And there'd be often times where you just get random people that either worked at pubs, moved pubs, and then they book you in the end to DJ, right? And this one was at the Goodwood, is it the Goodwood Park Hotel?
Goody Park Hotel, yeah.
Or the Goody, right, on Goodwood Road there. And the bar manager calls me and goes, hey, mate, I want to book you Friday nights or whatever to do this. And I was like, cool, easy done. And I knew it was literally just roll up, the gear's there, you DJ away. You've been doing it for ages. You can do it with your eyes closed. Yeah. He goes, it's going to be a bit slow, not many people coming, so it'll be pretty cruisy. And I was like, no worries. Anyway, the same night that I'm booked to do that is the Christmas party for Fresh FM, right? And I used to drink a lot back then. So went to the Christmas party. I was like, I can have a few. I can go DJ because what would generally happen is if I'd have a few before I DJ'd, I'd do a 6 set.
Yeah.
Or so I thought.
Yeah, so you thought.
There's another story for next week for you on the back of the end of that. But so I've gone to the Fresh Christmas party, had a great time. It was at a little nightclub that Troy J. Bean DJs at
Who, funnily
around the
enough,
corner.
used to be the voice of the Metropolitan Plumbing ads.
Yes.
He was the guy that
and
said,
would get
Metropolitan Plumbing. And I can do it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
Do
a,
that again.
Did you know
That
I
is
could do
amazing.
that? No, I'm doing it, so I'm flicking the side of my mouth.
That's really
Wow.
good.
Yeah, exactly.
He used to get so many death threats about that.
Really?
Yeah, because people were so sick of hearing his voice on those
wow.
ads and Metropolitan Plumbing. Anyway, so this little nightclub around the corner from Gooja Street. I don't know if you guys know it. I can't even think of the name of it. Anyway, it's just there. And I knew that.
What are you saying? What's around the corner from Gooja Street?
Yeah,
on
it
the
was
corner of Gooja and Morford?
Yeah, there's
Lotus Lounge.
Yeah, Lotus Lounge.
Yeah.
The party was there, right?
Yeah.
So rolled up there, cool, have a few. They were doing this drink that was essentially called rocket fuel, and because there was an open tab, it wasn't like Nova where it's like just beer and wine, guys.
Drink whatever you like. It's on the card. You can have a schooner and a glass of water. Cheers.
but only 2 an hour, including water.
Yeah, that's the water. I give you 2 waters an hour. Thanks to Puritab.
Yeah. Anyway, the great thing that Fresh had back in the day is open bars. So I went along there. I stuck to my 5 or 6 drinks of the rocket fuel, probably 30%, I'd probably say, because I sculled these things, right? And I've gone, okay, guys, it's time to go to the goodie to do my gig. So I had one of my mates drive me there, and as we're driving there, I don't know if you sort of remember when you get really hammered and you get in a car, maybe a taxi at the end of the night, and you sit there and go, yeah, cool, on the way home, and then you start to drift because of the movement of the car and stuff. Well, that's what happened to me. It's only a few turns to the Goodie Hotel. So I started to drift off, got to the Goodie, kind of got out of the car. My mate had to help me in, like, you know, like you're at the end of the footy match, but you've done your knee.
So you're going well here, aren't you?
Yeah. And he's carried my gear in.
Andy's going, you guys get sport. I'll give you a sporting analogy so you understand. Yeah.
Anyway, so we've gone in there. I was going, hey, mate, do you mind setting up for me? Because I need to go to the toilet for a bit. And so there was no one at the pub. I've walked into the toilets. This is where I've blacked out, but the security guard has then told me what has happened when I've come out. So I've walked in there, about to vom, and I've gone, I need to go to the toilet. So I've gone to the toilet, vommed all over the toilet, on the floor. Then I've gone to the sink to try to wash my face off, and I've vommed in the sink, filled that up, vommed in the next sink, filled that up, got some on the mirror, and then left the toilet, right? And then gotten back and just, started to help my mate set up for my big gig for that night. And then the security comes out, and he's like, do you guys know who's just gone into the toilet? So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, guys. I was here at a party.
Vomit hanging off his chin.
Yeah, I look like just, the milk moustache, just for this actual vom. Anyway, so he's gone away to sort of try to sort that out. And as I've gone to set up the rest of my gear, I've gone to pick up CDs back in that time. So I've leant down to go pick up some CDs, and I haven't come back up because I've passed out on the box. So what I remember then is my mate, he has had to DJ for me. He's not a DJ, but he's just pressed play on a few songs, which is essentially what I was doing anyway.
That's right.
But yeah, what's happened is the security guards come back because they've realised it was me that did it. And then he's going, mate, you need to go outside. We can't have you like this in here. And so I've gone outside the door, and the Goodie sort of has that weird side car park thing where you can only fit a few cars, and that's the driveway and the entrance to the place.
Near the bottle shop there?
Yeah. So I've gone outside the door, and I've vommed all there, right? And I was sitting there like on the bench like, what's up? It's only 8 o'clock at night, right? So the families are still coming and going from their meals. So the security guard's like, you need to go sit in your car. And I was like, but bro, I'm feeling unwell. And he's like, no, you need to go to your car. So he's took me to the car, and he's chucked me in my seat nicely. I've sat down. I was like, don't shut the door, mate. He's like, nah, shut the door, right? And I've then vommed all through my car, passed out, and then my mate's done the gig for me, finished up, and driven me home and left me under a tree. So then the next morning, the car was parked under a tree. So the next morning, the sun's come through nicely, woken me up, but dried out all the spew, and just it was ridiculous. But then got the phone call on the Tuesday. Hey mate, yeah, we probably won't need you. So that's that. Plenty of stories like that, by the way.
We're gonna get many from you. Andy also, out of anybody that I know, has the best drunk voice.
Yes.
Like if he's trying to retell a story and he puts his drunk. no one is better than you at doing a drunk voice.
Yeah, I do appreciate that, and
Because you've got different Can you give us your different stages of drunk your voice?
Let's start off in the night. G'day guys, how you going? This is a great night. We're going to have so much fun. Then a few beers in. Hey guys, you want to hear an interesting story? Yeah. And then you skip, you slur a little bit, and then pretty much half an hour later, hey guys, let's go party. And I'm saying, let's get this deal. Whose sister's that? Whose sister's over there?
I once had an experience with Andy when I went with, we all went to the Adelaide 500, and we were in a corporate area, and me and my daughter's 3 godfathers went to Soster on Rundle Street for dinner afterwards. They got these amazing potatoes, and I absolutely love them. I could just eat them non-stop. We're all sitting there. It's a great time, and all I heard just coming up the street was this, "What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all?" And then Andy comes in with Yasmin, his partner, and they start making out while leaning over us, and then Andy goes, "Oh, what's that? Look like potatoes." Andy puts his hand like he's palming a basketball over the pile of potatoes like, "What's up, y'all?" Then they walk off. That was it.
What had just happened is
justifies it.
No. Like, there's a bit of a backstory on that as well, because so I'm a happy drunk.
You were very happy.
I'm not I've only ever been angry once, but that was it, right? So I'm a very happy drunk. We've gone on the Clipsal for the day. We've had our private area. We're there with the current station manager of the station that we worked for at the time. There we had Greg Burns, the comedian, who was in the office and all that sort of stuff for the UK over here, and he was just surprised by the amount that we were drinking and how crazy we were getting. So we've decided to go to the stag as everything was finishing, right? So our boss has go, "You're right, you go to the toilet, you're right." So he's gone to the toilet, and we're going, he's pretty hammered. When he's really hammered, it's not that great to have him around, especially at a venue. Let's leave him in the toilet. So we've continued to walk. We've walked all the way to the stag, and then Greg, being the celebrity that he is, right? He's like, "Let's go on the stag, you're right." And we're like, "Okay, cool." And he's walked in, and we're like, "See ya." And then we've bolted, and then we've seen you guys around the corner. And then after that, I had potato obviously all over me, and I've caught the tram home. And then I think I ended up chatting to this guy, and then found out that he was a single father, and he had a son. And I was like, "Man, if you need anything from a radio station, I'll put songs on for you on the Sunday afternoon. I'll give you a sticker or whatever you need. I'm there for you, man." Like, that
You're
sort
a
of
nice
thing.
guy. You're a happy drunk.
Yeah.
It was interesting that he was a big name, Greg Burns, in Adelaide for the time, and probably if he didn't get in to the stag, he may have used his name to try and get somewhere, which actually you wanted to raise, Matty.
Yeah, so Man United captain Harry Maguire has got himself into a little bit of
Eddie's
trouble.
brother.
Oh, is it?
It's not.
Well, that family's doing very well.
So he's been over in Greece on holiday. Obviously, they're off season.
Yeah.
And him and his brother have got into a little bit of trouble over there, been arrested, and then it's come out in court that he said to the police, "Do you know who I am? I am Manchester United's captain. I am very rich. I'll pay you what you like." And it just got me wondering, have either of you two ever used "Do you know who I am" to get in anywhere, to get anything?
No, I'm very well aware that I'm a nobody, so it wouldn't actually get me anything. I did have one incident at the Clipsal 500 at the time. We had to host the after race concert on the Friday night. So it was either like bands on track, so it was the local bands, or there were some really good ones like leading up, but it was bands before they kind of really made it big.
I remember when it was like Mere Theory and
exactly,
because
like anyone else, like if it's the Hilltop Hoods or the Living End or whatever, they don't need an intro.
No.
They've got their own stuff sorted. So what would normally happen is there'd be two sides of stage where you'd have a viewing area and there was free drinks and stuff. Otherwise, you just basically sit back by yourself and wait for the band to finish, and you do nothing. And my name, I was told by one of the people I work with that my name was on the door, so I could go up there. And most of the night, I was just saying to the security guard, "Mate, my name's on the door. Can you please let me in?" He said, "It's not here, mate." He spent about an hour going back and forth, and then he eventually is like, "Okay, I believe you. I'm going to call you during the year for something." I'm like, "No worries, mate. I just want to go up there and, when you just want to sink beers as much as possible because out of principle."
Yeah.
Then randomly, like 6 months later, got a phone call. G'day, mate. It's Barry, the security guard from the Clipsal 500. Like, what's up? He's like, Hawthorn are playing the Adelaide Crows this weekend.
no.
Can you give me 2 tickets? I'm like, sure, Barry.
Yeah, no worries, Baz.
So, I
amazing.
would never say, do you know who I am? Because nobody does.
Right.
So it's a weird thing.
One year, I think the year after you were in the Clips and I went with you. Whose drum kit was I playing at the back of the stage? There's a video somewhere of me doing it, and I'm like playing the drums. But it's like behind the stage, so they're obviously about to use it.
I think it was Aussie Music Night, so it was probably Gyroscope or something like that.
Kiss Chasey or someone like that.
Have you ever done it?
Not to the point where I said, do you know who I am? Obviously, massive Collingwood supporter. So when I was a lot younger, I'm talking, 10, 11 years old, every time Collingwood would come to town, I'd go watch them at Footy Park or Amy Stadium. And with my dad having played there in the 80s, I used to go down to the change rooms, knock on the door and say, I'm Tony Burgess' son, can I come in, please? And the doorman would 9 times out of 10 let me in.
That's right. Well, there are actually a handful of people in Adelaide that would do the do you know who I am thing. Because here in South Australia, we have some sort of culture where there's a lot of people believe that they're bigger than they actually are, and they would do the do you know who I am. No, let's just have a real good look at ourselves at that and go, well, we're nobodies.
Yeah, no. I've got a couple of stories. Back in the day,
and he's like, yeah, good point, Jarrod. Anyway, I've done it a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys.
Just go to the bathroom to have a good look at myself.
I look like Tszyu. Back in the day, because we were part of Fresh FM, it was a very nightclub culture thing. Most of them were all DJs in all the clubs. So wherever you went, you didn't really, as long as you had your little card, your fresh card and stuff like that, or you're wearing merchandise like, hey, you from the station, cool, on the way in sort of thing. You skip your lines, all that sort of stuff. But I got pulled over by the police. I didn't know that my license was suspended due to parking fines. I knew I had a few.
That is another story.
Absolutely.
More time.
Another story to the scroll.
That is next round, that story.
So I got pulled over because the car was, the license was suspended and also the registration and stuff because it had gone to court behind my knowledge. Anyway, so they've pulled me over and they've essentially, my car was lowered, black windows, you couldn't see me.
Recipe for disaster.
It really was. Had a big West Coast Customs sticker on the back window. They knew who they were getting at, you know what I'm saying?
West Coast Eagles.
Exhibit had been there and done his thing on it.
Yeah, he really had been. Being pulled over, all the red flags have come up in their computer, so they're like, okay, this is a dodgy guy. Let's get this guy out as quick as he can. So they've essentially both come in from each door, right? Hands on their weapons, all that sort of stuff. And got me out. And I'm like, hey guys, how are you? What was this for? And they're like, do you realise that you've got enough parking fines to fill a fucking bank? And I'm like, no, I don't, not at all. And they're like, what's that pink slip on the back seat of your car? It was a parking fine that's been in court? I don't know what that is. Anyway, they've gone, okay, you've been suspended, blah, 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 blah. Let's have your licence. And my license was stuck in a wallet that had a little plastic, the plastic sort of thing that goes over your license. So I've pulled it out. But because my wallet had been in seawater and stuff before, it pulled my face off the driver's license. So it was just my face was on the inside of the wallet, but you pull out my driver's license and it's just a white faded circle where my face should be. And they're like,
you're holding an A4 piece of paper up on your shoulder going, hey, we look the same.
Yeah. Anyway, so they've looked at it and they've gone, do you have any other sort of identification? Because this has no face on it. And I'm like, all I've got here is my Fresh FM card.
Just turn on the radio,
my
mate.
stuff card here. And then they're like, okay. And then they've walked away. They've had a little chat. And their demeanour completely changed. They came back and said, you're right, mate. You're right. Just make sure you get it sorted out. See you later. And I was like, this media thing might work.
Yeah. The week before the coppers were at the Goodie Hotel, it's like, I think I saw that guy vomiting on himself at the Goodie Hotel last week. We should probably leave him alone, mate.
We'll let him go.
No, they've noticed all the stained spew on the inside of the car and probably going, let's get this guy a bit of a crack. But anyway, that's enough about me, guys. This has really been an Andy episode.
No, that's fine. We need to get to know you. We don't have lots of time. We've got about 10 minutes left before Maddie has to go. I mean, that's totally fine. Yeah. So there's a couple of updates we'll get to very soon. First of all, social media is just such a powerful thing at the moment. How do you follow us, Matty?
At Best Team Men on Twitter and facebook.com/Best Team Men.
Yeah. Now, one of the most fascinating things that has happened to us over the past week is trying to access our Twitter account.
The banter that goes on between you guys with this is hilarious.
Well, it was hard to access for you, and then we fixed that. Now I can't get into it.
Yeah. So on our Twitter account, I just wanted to tweet stuff because
I wasn't that great on it. I kept it pretty vanilla. And
yeah, but you were good, but I just wanted to have a turn. And the thing is, we didn't know what the password was, and then I had to change the password. But if you wanted to change the password, Matty got a text message on his phone. So apparently, you can't have more than one person logged into the Twitter account.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's what we
really
found out.
weird.
So.
Okay.
So I have decided that for some reason, me having access to Best Team Men on Twitter, it gives me
The
I don't know,
voice.
I feel like I've got a voice that I can just say whatever I want because it's not directly associated to me.
Essentially, what you're saying is,
I think I'm a troll.
yeah, what are those people that go under a different thing and they go and try to hook up with someone else?
Oh, catfish.
Yeah, catfish. That's
I'm
it.
catfishing.
Yeah, you're catfishing.
Yeah, I've got to be very careful what I say because it is a reflection of us and we aren't mean-spirited people.
No.
But I'm struggling in some areas. I think in other areas, in my personal Twitter account, if I'd say that, I'm like, oh, no, I probably shouldn't. But I can say it on the Best Team Men one because we've got three people that's going to take the blame for it. But I'm obviously struggling because I took a photo of you when you were telling me about your bloody sex podcast you were listening to.
And you tried to tag me and you ended up tagging a guy named Fred.
So you can go have a look at that. I'm going to leave that up there just for the sake of it. We did get a question on our Twitter, which I'll take you through next round because it's a bit of a long story. But Nate Turner, who hooked us up with Odd Sock Mob, he wanted to know pretty much if I message Donovan Mitchell, who's an NBA player, after every game, because I met him pretty much this time last year in Sydney when I was doing the USA basketball game. They took on Canada and they took on the Boomers as well, and it was an amazing experience. But what I can share from that is how nervous I was because something happened last night, and we're not a sports podcast, but this happened last night in the boxing match between Tszyu, who is Tszyu, his son, and Jeff Horn. And Jeff Horn fought Manny Pacquiao a little while ago in Brizzy, and he fought last night. And the ring announcer is supposed to get everybody fired up, and you pretty much, it is that saying, you have one job.
Yeah.
And he stuffed it. So let's play the audio. You'll be able to hear him get one of the names wrong.
It's Tim Horn against Jeff Horn, who will be crowned the king.
Okay, can you please play that again? So he's supposed to say it's Tszyu versus Jeff Horn.
You know he's gone halfway through that and go, fuck this one up. Yeah. All right, here we go.
It's Tim Horn against Jeff Horn.
All of a sudden, Jeff Horn's going, I'm not fighting my brother.
That's
am I?
exactly right. And it did make me think, we mentioned we were going to play this last round, and when Adelaide United, who have their season awards at the moment, they had the A-League Grand Final against the Wanderers. I was so excited. The build-up to that, I was so nervous because, long story short, I was in Tasmania and I had to fly back from Tasmania to do the A-League Grand Final because at that point, a few weeks when we booked, I didn't think the Reds were going to make the Grand Final, let alone host it. So I was really nervous. I was working with the Wanderers MC, Andy Pascalidis, and normally what I do before every Adelaide United game, and I've kind of made this my own. Like when I started MCing, I'm like, I'm going to try this, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I would scream out Adelaide, and the crowd would scream out United.
Yeah.
So I'll go through the headshots of the 11 starting players and the players on the bench, and then I go, all right, let's do this Adelaide, and then they see United.
It's a great thing. Like, it's unreal. It definitely works, and I've been to games where you've done it, and it creates an amazing atmosphere.
Yeah, so 50,000 people were at Adelaide Oval. This is a huge build-up, and I'm like, this is going to be great. I want to hear the crowd do it. Like the nerves and the excitement. It got the better of me because my voice broke. And a few days later, it went online saying when your balls drop in front of 20,000 people. It was.
Can we just hear that again?
Yeah, please.
All right, here we go.
So that is going to be the audio of this week that we play because we are running out of time. What else do we need to get to before we wrap up?
Well, it's time for Andy's new game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Here we go.
Okay.
I've made an intro.
This is new. Jarrod and I haven't heard this.
Yeah, threw this together before you boys arrived. Here we go. Andy's burning sporting issues.
That is amazing.
Voiced by Andy.
I was like, who should I get to voice this? No one else is here.
Yeah, no, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
So I've got two today. One of them is, I'm just going to read it because it's more funny than anything.
Okay.
But you can still have a crack.
I'll give it a red hot go, yeah.
This is the first one. And I might have trouble getting through this one. Keegan fills Schmeichel's gap with semen.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Can't do anything else apart from the fact that he's a porn star. Can I? All I can see right now is just literally the guy's teeth full of...
So this was Sky... This was Sky Sports headline following the news that Manchester City had signed David Seaman in replace of Peter Schmeichel, and the coach was Kevin Keegan.
Long-haired keeper, David Seaman.
Schmeichel.
Yeah, Schmeichel's a bit of a strange name. Okay.
Sounds like something Adam Sandler would say.
Second one.
True. Anyway, this is, moving on.
This one would be pretty obvious, but I thought it'd be funny anyway. Ricky Williams blames pot for his failed drug test.
That's good.
That was good.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I like that. It's got to do with weed, obviously.
That is correct.
Smoked a bit of the old doobie whoopie.
That's
and,
right.
No more support for him.
Failed his drug test.
Give yourself a round of applause or whatever you got. That's close enough. Very nice work. I do love that game, by the way, as well. I do
it's
love
a lot
that.
of pressure on my shoulders.
Now, Port Pirates.
Yes.
Port Pirates.
Get
The
me!
Skeff got in touch with me. He said, how are you, mate? We couldn't get the result for you last week, unfortunately. Like, come on,
first
mate.
week he
Don't be
hasn't
so
scored.
hard on yourself, the Skeff. He said he wants to come in and have a chat with us because they've got a club stalwart playing his 300th game in a few weeks. So there's a lot of past players attending. This is September the 19th, Saturday night. So we've got time to build up to this.
Yeah.
We'll give you more details on it next round, 7 o'clock kickoff. And they're basically in the process of designing a timeline photo frame with their achievements. I mean, Con and the Brighton Framing Centre.
Now with milk.
Yeah, so we might actually get Con involved. So there's the Skeff update. Thank you very much. If you want the multi-update and who wins the voucher, we will put that on social media. I know you have to go, Maddie.
Yeah.
We have to put someone on the plaque.
Okay.
That's what we do every
week.
round.
Yep.
So if you guys have people to put on the plaque, then I'm going to do something at the end of that.
All right, so I'm going to put on Kieran Bridge. So he's my mate that tends to order stuff off
Reggie!
eBay.
It's Murray's brother.
Murray Bridge, there we go. Also Harbour.
Oh, shit.
And Andy, who are you putting on there?
I'm going to go with Jake Tolsha.
Oh,
You know Jake?
yeah,
Tolsha.
Jake Tolsha is a great guy, very creative man as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take someone off the plaque.
Oh, hey, what? I didn't know you could ungrave it.
Here we are, Con. Well, I'm going to give you a mission, mate, because a couple of weeks ago, and I don't want to speak too negatively, but I think it's really important that we address this. People who go on the plaque are people who listen to the podcast, interact with us, and express a bit of love for it, right? So a couple of weeks ago, this is before you joined, Maddie and I put someone on the plaque, and his name is Dale Dustin Fletcher. He works on another podcast.
Yeah.
And I tweeted
I put him on.
Dale Dustin Fletcher a couple of weeks ago because he was our favourite member of this other podcast. And I said, mate, what sort of pajamas do you wear? And he didn't respond. And then,
harsh.
I mean, it was just a question.
You could have said none.
Exactly. Doesn't even click the like button.
We're guessing.
He only followed us a few days ago on Twitter.
And that was due to peer pressure, I think, from his mate Tuggers.
Yep, because Tuggers from the Pressbox app said, we'll ask Dale Dustin if he hates us. And he's like, no, I don't. I just don't check my stuff.
Just side note, what does EP mean?
No,
EP?
we don't know.
So,
No idea.
not sure.
So the reason I'm doing this is because I don't think that Dale listens to the podcast. Dale Dustin Fletcher. I suggested to Sam Tugwell a couple of weeks ago, mate, here's a good headline for the back page of the paper. Next day it was on the back page of the paper.
Really?
Yes.
That was Norton 12.
Claimed it.
And we can be both creative minds at the same time. Didn't even get a, hey, mate, great minds think alike. So I'm going to take Dale Dustin Fletcher off the plaque and replace it with Sam Tugwell.
Yes, I like it.
He's on there. And, mate, if this creates friction and tension, then, well, listen to Maddie's sex podcast. I guess. We are back next round. We have lots more to get through. Thank you for listening. And we have some more announcements as well about like a side podcast we are doing. There's heaps to love about this and probably some stuff not to like. But you know what? Make up your own mind.
That's right.
See ya.
Catch you next week.
Awesome.